So over the years, I've gotten a lot of questions about how I make my videos and how to make video essays in general. And so instead of responding to each DM and comment one by one, I figured I would just try and put it all into one video. I am by no means an expert. I am far from the biggest and best video essayist on this platform, but this is just my process and some of the things that I've learned in the 5 years that I've been doing this. If you're a beginner, this video is for you, but if you're already making videos for the internet, maybe stick around because I need you to catch me when I'm doing something stupid. So this is how I make videos about movies for people on the internet. I need to work on that title. The first step in making a video essay is the script. If you're watching this, then chances are you already have an idea for the kinds of videos that you want to make, so I won't waste too much time on this, but my advice has always been this: write what you know and write what you love. Because regardless of anything else about relevancy or the algorithm, if people can tell that you care about something, then that will always translate into a quality video. The rest, honestly, is just trial and error. There will be people out there telling you about retention and watch time and a good hook and stuff like that, but really what I think is the most important is coming up with the idea, coming up with a title, and then really the rest of the script comes pretty naturally. If you're struggling with it, you could always follow what your English teacher tells you to do and do a 5-paragraph essay. That always works. All right, now that you've got your script, now we can start recording. If you think you want to try something like this and you want to invest some money, make it the microphone. Audio quality is the most important thing in a video, so a good mic will go a long way. The microphone I use is a Samson Q2U microphone, which is honestly the mic I recommend to most people when you're looking to buy one. There's always the Blue Yeti, which is really popular, but I think it's kind of overpriced for the sound quality, and I wouldn't get one unless you can get it super cheap, like used or something. That's what I did. I had a Blue Yeti that I got for like 30 bucks on eBay and it was pretty good. Links to everything I talk about will be in the description, by the way, and they're all affiliate links that help out the channel. The Q2U is a USB microphone, so you can record directly to your computer through something like GarageBand or Audacity, but it also has an XLR connection, which I have going into a Zoom H6 audio recorder. This is overkill. You don't need to do this when you're just starting out, or probably ever. Most people can't really tell the difference. If you're comfortable in front of a camera, I would really recommend it, and I'd really recommend filming yourself. At the very least, having yourself talk in front of a camera gives you a lot of flexibility in the edit, which will make your job a lot easier down the line. You can always use your phone to film. Most smartphones have pretty good video nowadays. I use a Nikon Z30 mirrorless camera. Nikon isn't exactly the best for video. A lot of people really like Sony, and Canon has some really well-priced cameras, so look into some of those if you're looking to buy a camera. I just had Nikon stuff already and I didn't want to make the switch. Lighting is probably more important than the camera though. Good lighting can go a really long way and make a crappy camera look fantastic. I use this cheap softbox that I've had for like 10 years at this point, and I have it like just out of frame, and I use a pocket RGB light to give some color to the background. Now I use a teleprompter because I don't like looking at scripts and I can never remember them. And I've sort of put everything together into this like rig thing that can all be on one tripod and make it easier to start filming. While you're recording, make sure your audio levels aren't peaking and keep the microphone at an angle from your mouth to prevent plosives. Plosives are when the P sound makes a popping noise and the microphone sounds like poop. And I get them a lot. I'm really bad about it. All right, now to get into the nitty-gritty of this whole thing, the editing. This is where you're gonna spend like 90% of your time when making videos. So once you've recorded your script, bring that into your video editor. If you filmed yourself separately, you can sync the audio and the video using a clap, or most video editors now let you auto-sync things. I edit in Final Cut Pro, but if you're on Windows, you could always use Premiere, or DaVinci Resolve is free, and I've heard really good things about that. Because I know Windows Movie Maker is not a thing anymore. At least it wasn't when I started, so yeah. Look into Premiere Elements. That's what I used when I started. There was a student discount that gave Photoshop and Premiere Elements for like 80 bucks flat, and I never had to pay ever again, and it was really good. The first thing I do is I process my audio. You're just gonna wanna do that just to clean up some things and clean up some frequencies. I run an equalizer and a limiter, and Final Cut has a built-in voice isolator that's really good for background noise. And then I go through the recording and I edit out any mistakes or pauses or breaths until I get it roughly the same as the script that I wrote. This is called the A-roll of the edit. I'm gonna use that term a lot. One tip, if you hate the sound of your voice, I promise everybody does. Wait, hang on, that came out wrong. Nobody likes listening to the sound of their own voice. You get used to it after a while, but what I've always done is I edit at double speed. Not only does this make it a faster edit, but it also changes my voice just enough to not bother me. Finding clips, or B-roll as it's called, for what you're talking about is a pain in the ass and easily the most time-consuming part of this process. There are some times when you just say something and there's just not a relevant clip for it, which is where having an on-camera presence helps out a lot, because you just cut to yourself and just move on, and it's really nice. Genuinely, that is the only reason I started filming on camera, because I was like, I'm sick of this. But where do you even find clips to use in editing a video essay? Now, there's always the option to... But I am, for obvious reasons, not gonna tell you how to do that. The correct way to get video files is to buy the Blu-ray of the movie or show, and then get a USB Blu-ray reader to rip the movie into an MKV file, and then compress that file into an MP4 for the video editor. Okay, so once you have your video files, overlay the relevant clips onto the timeline when you're talking about them, throw some text and effects, take some inspiration from other creators, watch how they use their clips, see how they make jokes, see how they edit things. Don't copy anybody because you still want to have your own style and your own voice, but just try and learn from them. One final piece of editing advice I'll give is to use your limitations. If you don't have the most expensive editor or the best editing skills, make your stuff look sloppy and play it off as a joke. I didn't have a lot of footage for Spider-Man Homecoming for my first video since the movie had just come out to theaters, so instead I used paper cutouts and popsicle sticks to recreate it, and I think that defined a lot of my style early on. Things don't need to be flashy or fancy, they just need to be you. But if you did want to learn how to be a better video editor, you could always go about it with trial and error, or you could use some help from the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. The hardest part about video editing is getting acquainted with the interface and everything that the program can do. Like I said, I use Final Cut Pro and I have for years, and even I'm still trying to figure out all the ins and outs to make my videos the best quality they can be. And that's why the course Video Editing with Final Cut Pro 10 from Beginner to YouTuber by Ali Abdal is super useful to me. The course is less than 4 hours long, and he goes through the entire process of editing a video in Final Cut in detail, including the best way to arrange the A-roll, applying effects, and he even goes into more depth about audio processing than me. And the course has taught me a lot about how much I'm able to do with the Final Cut software. If you're looking to get into this YouTube scene, you might want to be pursuing it as a potential career, or you want a creative career in general. On top of their classes in photography, film and video editing, and illustration, Skillshare also has hundreds of career-focused classes. The new year is the perfect time to reinvent your goals and yourself, and is the reason why I'm making this video now. Traditional work isn't one size fits all anymore. Now more than ever, there are possibilities that let you pursue your creative dream and design a career and lifestyle to fit you. The first 1,000 people to use the link down in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, and thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Alright, with the video edited and done, it's time to make the thumbnail. Nobody really knows what goes into a good thumbnail. People will try and tell you it's about like a crazy face that you go, oh, and I've done that before, and honestly the videos have performed well, so maybe there is something to it. But I always try to prioritize legibility. If you have any text or words in your thumbnail, those need to be easily readable, and the basic idea of your thumbnail should be clear even if the thumbnail is super small. I say the cleaner the better, use contrasting colors so nothing blends into the background, and when in doubt, add more drop shadows. That's my catchphrase. I tell all my friends are like, oh, what do you think of this thumbnail? And every single time I'm like, add more drop shadows. You can never go add 50 drop shadows. Do it. Fuck who, go for it. Also, this doesn't matter, but if you're going to be searching for images to use in your videos or in your thumbnail, I recommend using the search engine Ecosia. They're not sponsoring this video or anything, but the search is more secure. They donate their ad proceeds to planting trees. The results are about the same as Google, and they still have the view image button, which is really fucking nice because Jesus Christ, Google, why did they get rid of that? It makes me so mad. They do it to get people to go to the articles, and so it's so frustrating. I don't want to go to the news article. I just want a picture of Spider-Man. So you have the video finished and a thumbnail done. Now let's upload this bad boy. Log into YouTube, go through the steps to upload, maybe add some subtitles in there. They've made the subtitling really easy lately. You can just like copy and paste your script and then go through and clean it up and stuff. It's really, really helpful. I really recommend doing it. It makes your stuff more accessible and adds more metadata to it. Make subtitles, everybody. It's great. And now sit back, relax, and reward yourself for all your hard... All right, so let's talk about my favorite thing in the world. Copyright. If you're making video essays on YouTube where you need to use clips from copyrighted media, there's almost a 100% chance that you're going to have to deal with a copyright claim. So a quick rundown of how everything works. YouTube has a system called Content ID. Basically, it's an automated system that has this database of a bunch of movies, TV shows, music, basically all copyrighted works. And when your video is uploaded during that processing phase, it runs a comparison of your video to all the content in that database frame by frame. If something comes up as a hit, then you get a Content ID claim. Now, getting one of these sucks. I remember when I got my first one, I freaked out. I like woke up at 5 in the morning to the email and it scared the shit out of me. But really, it's not the biggest deal in the world. It's mostly just an annoyance. Content ID has some issues. Believe me, I get it. It's a broken system. But it's a necessary system when there's so much content that's uploaded to YouTube every day. And fundamentally, the system exists to protect you, the uploader, from being full-on sued by the big companies that own these copyrights. Because otherwise, if there wasn't Content ID to protect you, if you uploaded a clip of a movie and Warner Brothers thought it was too much, you would straight up have to go to court. When you get a Content ID claim like this, most of the time YouTube will tell you specifically which part got claimed. What a lot of people do is they go back and they re-edit the video and then they fix it and then they re-upload it. Usually just making the clip shorter will do the trick. trick. Try and keep your clips under 6 seconds if you can. That's honestly just a general rule for editing. A lot of the time for what this will be of a video essay, a content ID just means the copyright holder will be making money from the video instead of you. If you're just starting out, this isn't the biggest deal in the world since you're likely not going to be making money from these videos anyway, but sometimes the claim will full on block the video, which is where disputing comes in. To properly dispute a claim, you're going to want to understand copyright law, which is a super fun and exciting topic. Now, I'm not a lawyer, obviously, look at me. But the thing you're going to want to research is called fair use. If you want to learn about fair use, I put some links in the description that really helped me to understand it when I was starting out, and I can't stress enough that it's super important that you understand this, because if you don't properly explain your case from a legal perspective, the company that claimed you isn't going to give you sympathy just because you have the phrase review. The biggest thing about fair use, at least right now as the law stands, and in this specific case, is making sure it's transformative. Before disputing, definitely look over your video, think about what it is that you're doing with the copyrighted clips. Do they exist as a replacement for the original work so that the original is effectively meaningless after your video? Are you pulling potential traffic and customers away from the original just by using the copyrighted clips? If that is the case, you might want to talk to somebody a bit more knowledgeable and rethink how you use those clips. But in most cases, for what we do here in video essays of just putting clips over top our commentary, we use copyrighted clips as a visual representation of our points about the movie, providing commentary and critique over the original work. That is usually enough to be considered transformative. Keep in mind, all of this only applies to American copyright law because I am American and I don't know how it works overseas. So the act of disputing basically says to the copyright holder, hey, the computer claimed that this was yours, but I'm actually allowed to use it because what I'm doing is transformative and fair use. So if you dispute a claim, answer the questions and write up a pretty lengthy explanation about why you use that clip specifically. What does it do? What are you saying in your video? And what are you critiquing? This dispute goes back to the original copyright holder and they can either agree or deny you, which is kind of a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. If they deny it, then you'll have to appeal that. Now, going through an appeal puts your channel at risk of a copyright strike, and they warn you a bunch about that, and it's pretty scary. So really know if what you're doing is fair use or not, and if re-editing is at all an option. Speaking from my experience though, copyright strikes are not the end of the world. They're not permanent records. They expire after 90 days, and even if you get a strike, there's still the option to counter notify. Hopefully you never have to do this because that's a terrifying concept, but that's essentially telling the company that gave you the strike that they're gonna have to sue you if they want you to take down the video. This is obviously very scary sounding, but there is also this sort of added safety net that nobody talks about of when you file a counter notification, it goes to YouTube first and they decide if they think it's okay before they send it to the third party. And so if they don't think that what you're doing is fair use enough, they won't send that counter notification and you live with a strike and you just take the L. But if they do send it, the copyright holder has 2 weeks to prove to YouTube that they're gonna sue you, provide legal proof that they're gonna sue you in court, or else YouTube will release all claims. Most of the time, you're never gonna have to deal with that. You're probably never gonna get past the dispute stage, but I just wanted to explain the process because it can be kind of scary and there's not a ton of information about it out there. From here, you're done. Keep making things, learn from any mistakes you've had, and just push yourself as an artist and as a creator to make things about the things you're passionate about. My rule of thumb that I try to follow for every video is to always learn one new thing with everything I do, no matter how small, like just an editing tactic or the color grading or the way the script is written. Like in this instance, I'm shooting in 4K now, which is either going to look really cool or really terrible. And I'm also shooting at 24 frames a second because I was like, ooh, it makes it more cinematic. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't even know if you guys can tell. I want something to be new and different because at the very least, even if I look back on the video and I hate it, at least I'll know that I got something more out of it than just a couple views. And once you have your video, share your stuff around, send it to friends, post about it on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, whatever you use. Just get people to see what you made and eventually, oh, look at that. I think we just got our first comment. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I know this was kind of different than most of my other videos, but I figured it'd be fun at the very least to just see what I go through and see how things are made, because I put a lot of work into some of these things, and I hope you guys could appreciate that, you know? Special thanks to Also The Sting, Already Done It, Cabbage Boy, Cassidy Bond, Chicken McDoofus, Connor Langell, Cosmic Tragedy, Iron Ninja, Corey's Not Fresh, Lime Spice XL, Logan Triplet Films, Simply Dan, Tim Neufeld, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Tyler Goodrich, Yush Kapoor, Zachary Stonebreaker, Zero to Hero 148, and ZZ Toasty for being spectacular fanboys on my Patreon. This has been TroyBoy17 coming at you live. Be responsible, Happy New Year, and I'll see you around.